What's up, guys? So today I'm finally going to fix the suspensions for the Z3. What I'm replacing is the control arms, the trail arms, the Lollipop bushings, and the tie rods for this car. I did a review on this one with all the Z3 parts. This one I only bought for $100 with everything that I need to replace everything. And then I'm going to show another video where I compare all this with the OEM suspensions. The reason why I'm replacing them is because this car is 95,000 miles already, and I believe that the suspensions are about the same, or they were from factory, so obviously they're going to need replacing very soon, which is right now. And I'm experiencing the steering wheel is tilted to the right, it's shaking a lot when I drive it. So finally I'm going to replace the suspensions, and then I'm going to bring it to the alignment shop so that they can do it from there. Now, the only time you should be driving with freshly rebuilt suspensions is to the alignment shop. You should never drive this whenever you just replace the suspensions, because you'll never get it right. The only place you can get it right is the alignment shop. So please be careful when you're doing this. Obviously safety first, and let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to do a quick walk around. I went ahead and put the wooden blocks or wooden slabs on the jack stands and the wheels. I also have this one with wheel stoppers right here. So now everything should be great. I'm going to go in another video and explain why I use wooden slabs, because well, it seems like it's not the best idea, but it does work very well. It's just a cheap alternative to other things in the market. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get started. The first thing, I'm gonna remove the wheels, and then I'll show you in the video what we do next, disassemble the whole suspensions. Alright, so I went ahead and removed the wheels. I realized I have to replace the disc brakes, because obviously you can see how rusty it is. And then we're gonna go ahead and get down here. I got the light bar from Harbor Freight. It was about $30. The battery life sucks, but the utility of that is that it has magnetic sides so that you can connect it to your hood, and that's really great. This is also great for working under the car because you can literally see everything. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and start the whole process. So the first thing is that I don't have a manual for this type of build, so I'm purely going off of my own experience and my own E30 and Google also. So I think the first thing we have to do is remove the bolts for the control arms right there, or I'm sorry, the tie rods, and then the trailing arms we have to remove the bolt, and then that stabilizer right there, or whatever it's called, that small bar right there, we have to remove it also. And then on the back, there's a Lollipop where my finger is. That's a Lollipop bushing. It's the same thing as my E30. You just go ahead and remove those two bolts first. From my experience, you're going to go ahead and just remove the tie rods first, because it's way easier to do that. And then you're going to go ahead and remove the control arm bolts, the stabilizer bolts, and then the Lollipop bolts. And then you're going to go ahead and work on taking out the trailing arm bolt, which you see my finger right there with that disc. On top of that, there's a bolt in there. You just go ahead and remove all that, and then we'll start that process. All right. So it's been a while since I've done this, I'll admit. Let's go ahead and try this. Doesn't work. The problem with being with cars is that if you don't have the manual, you won't know the socket sizes, so you're kind of just guessing from here, but that's not bad. So I don't recommend doing this, but we're going to use this chrome socket. And the reason why you shouldn't use this for long periods of time is, actually, I've done it before. This one's not able to handle the shock as opposed to an impact material. So what I'm saying is that if you use this one, it can technically explode from the stress that's handling. So from my experience, it'll explode if you keep using it continuously. but since we're dealing with a suspension part, just one bolt, it's 17 millimeters. I don't think it's gonna be too bad. Hopefully I don't regret my decision. So let's go ahead and try this. So the bolt is going up right here like this, so the socket has to go down like this. We're gonna go ahead and test out this thing, if it's a waste of money or not. Let's see how it works, because I have never used this one before, but I think the concept is very cool. So we're gonna go ahead and go from this angle right here like this and see if that works. Always make sure to wear goggles. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay. See how it goes. Oh, I see. Okay. So it can't be completely 90 degrees, so I think that kind of explains itself. Alright, 120 or 100 degrees, perfectly fine, but if it's 90 degrees, don't do it. So only at maximum and safely at maximum is 100 degrees of angle. Now it seems like it doesn't want to budge, so we're going to go ahead and take this suspension part right here, and then we're going to put it inside, okay? So I'm going to try to hammer it in first, and then I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so here comes the fun part. We're going to go ahead and take the impact, and we're going to go ahead and bolt this one right here, you know, basically like tightening it, and then this lever will push down onto the bolt and it will pop out. Now that popping sound, I can tell you it sounds like a gun. It sounds like a 22, so I recommend wearing or like earbuds or anything that protects you against any high impact or loud sounding things, because well, it's really loud. Half the time you're fixing stuff, and half the time you just figure out what bolt it is in the first place. Anyways, let's get started. Also wear safety glasses too, because you never know. There we go, that's it. Simple as that. Alright, so one thing before we actually go ahead and take out that bolt where my flashlight is pointing at, the only issue is that this thing right here, the shocks are in the way. So what we might have to do is that we're going to take out one bolt on one side and then the other bolt on the other side that attaches to the brakes, so that we're able to access that bolt right there. Now, the way that this is designed is that it's attached to the shocks, so we're going to go ahead and have to zip tie it to the spring itself, so the brakes won't fall over and damage any brake lines. So let's go ahead and do that right now, and then we'll get on our way. Alright, so this is where the tie rod connects to, the bolt. This one is the shocks right there, and then we remove those, and then finally we remove that top bolt right there, and then we're going to go ahead and remove that bolt. So we have access to now. So we're going to go ahead and put a zip tie on that hole to the shocks so that this one doesn't fall off. I put one already, but I realized I need two so that it doesn't fully fall off, because this one is completely reliant on the trail arm and the shocks. Alrighty, so then I went ahead and removed that bolt already. This is where the bolt was. Again, I did the same technique with removing the tie rods with that one. Now the whole weight of this one is supported by these zip ties. Of course, it's good to use bungee cords, because at least you don't reuse zip ties. But with the zip ties, they're about like $1 at Harbor Freight, so I don't mind using them. Anyways, bungee cords are better to use in the long run. So then now we're going to go ahead and remove, let me see if I can get over here. We're going to go ahead and remove this stabilizer right here, where my light is. It's with the red stripe down the boot. We're going to go ahead and remove the bolt right here, and the bolt right there. And then we should be removing those two bolts over there. and that should be it for removing the control arm or the trailing arms along with that bolt. So the first thing I'm going to use is a 18 millimeter. Now I don't have an 18 millimeter for an impact, unfortunately. But the one thing you never want to do is put a chrome, this chrome piece with this one, because I just feel like it's going to ruin it. It's not designed to be in the same socket, but we don't have anything else, so let's go and use this. Comes out like that. All right, and the second one should come out like this. All right, that's it. So these two pieces come out. They're about the same length, or because they are the same bolt. So there's no confusion on that one. And then this one comes out like that. So then this bolt right here should be a 17 millimeter. We're gonna go ahead and remove that. There we go. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that bolt too. So we're gonna go ahead and use this one because there's two bolts. There's one bolt that goes over here and the nut that attached to this one like that. So we're gonna go ahead and hold the nut with this, and we're gonna take the impact and use the screw on that. Go ahead and remove this. So what I did was that I removed the bolt right here. So this one was going inside. The nut was right over here. That wiggles out like that. And make sure, the last time I did this for my E30, I felt so mad. Do not throw these away whatsoever. Whoa. What the heck? Okay, so this is not designed to be like this. Wow, I didn't even know I was driving like this. That is scary. Okay, so this one is terrible. It's supposed to be straight, not angled like that. So it appears that this one was driving at a very bad angle. I didn't know how bad it was until now. So let's just go ahead and toss it to the side. We got to order new ones. Keep these bolts. Always keep your bolts. I kid you not, just keep your bolts, because that is something that you really need. But that is absolutely scary. But anyways, if you have one that's not deformed like this, if it's straight, you're gonna go ahead and keep this, because usually kits do not have these and I have to order new ones. So just go ahead and keep them onto the side along with your bolts. Always keep track of your bolts right there. And then we're gonna go ahead and remove one more bolt. I know I keep saying bolts, and it's annoying. All right, so the last thing we're removing, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's in the subframe for the front. Should be that bolt right there. You can only, I don't know how I got this out last time. It was super hard, I can tell you now. I took a long time taking this out, so good luck with this. But you're gonna go ahead and take this one out. I think it's with a ratchet that I took it out with, and we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. So where this bolt is located is that here is this front subframe, and where my flashlight is, that's where the bolt is connected from there. After that, you are ready to take this one out. So the only real way to remove this trailing arm is by using a pitchfork, or pickle fork, I think it's what it's called. Of course, you want to see if you're making progress with this one. So it seems like I am making some progress, but not a lot. So we go ahead and see the holes right there in the subframe. We were removing that entire bolt right there. Basically, the idea was to have this pitchfork on the flat side of the subframe. The subframe will be on top. This one will be on the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and just hammer it until it pops out completely. So you can see the bushing is completely out. All right, so let's continue doing this right here. So as I mentioned, I'm gonna go ahead and take a flathead and put it on this flap right here to take this one out. Take this tool, which is a wire cutter. This one cuts metal. Well, it's not a wire cutter, but it basically cuts through metal. And just go like that. Simple as that. Take that one out. And we'll do it on the other side also. There you go. So that one's out. Now simply just push the boot out like so. And it shall come out like this right here. Now we got this whole thing. So now you can visually see what I'm talking about. This ball joint right here should be stuck in any position that it goes onto. As you can see, it's freely wiggling around, which is terrible. So we're gonna go ahead and try to see how we're gonna take this one out. You know, personally, I forgot how I took this one out. Oh wait, you know what? I think we take a wrench, we just untighten it, and this should just come out. I'm not sure if it's entirely like, if it's reverse threaded or not, but we're gonna check it out right now. Alright, so we're gonna take this right here, simply adjust it to its specific size. I'm not sure what it is specifically. And simply just, it's not that side. Maybe. So righty type to lefty loosey. Maybe that one? Okay. So it's going up, okay? Simple way to think about it. Alright, and here we go. So we have the tie rod, or honestly, I don't even know. So obviously it's not supposed to be like this right here. You can see how wiggly it is. And this part right here is also, it's just okay, but the boot is very worn out. So this one, you're gonna pull it upwards towards the engine essentially, or towards the exhaust manifold, and that one should take it out. So I believe it is not reverse threaded. Yeah, it's not reverse threaded, it's just regular thread. So there's no worries about that. In terms of torque on everything, all the bolts that have to be torqued down, unfortunately I don't know the exact specifications, so I would refer to the Z3 manual or even Google. So anyways, we got this. Now my last video, always keep your old parts because you want to make sure that everything aligns perfectly. And so we are done, perfectly done with this side right here. Now, unfortunately, I cannot just reassemble everything yet because, again, I have to order this part because I believe that it is not at the right angle of this one. So that's it for now for disassembling everything. Reassembly will come onto another video so that everything is on cue, and also it will align with me ordering new parts. So you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Ask me any questions if you have any questions on the comments. I will perfectly answer them.